And I think, are we ready to jump on into some Bravo stuff?
Yeah, I think so. All right, do you want to begin with what do you want to talk about this week on Bravo?
Well, I mean, there's so many good shows on right now. I feel like we've kind of got a dearth of material to talk about. But have you been watching any of Potomac?
I have. I think I'm all caught up.
Okay, so what did you think of the whole Mauricio encounter?
Oh, with all the other girls? I don't know. Why was he there again?
Well, I guess like Kyle and Mauricio have always had a home in Aspen, which is, you know, popular place for rich people to go.
Oh, okay.
But I guess it was something, I saw some other interview where Kyle said like, oh, he was like out, he was just happened to be nearby, heard they were filming and popped in. Mm-hmm. But I felt very weird about the way that like what Giselle said, what Ashley was doing.
Yeah, like I think I was preoccupied during some of that, so I must have missed some of it. But yeah, I thought it was a little, I agree with Giselle as far as, you know, Ashley should respect Kyle. You know, you guys kind of work together, so I think that, you know, she should have been good around Mauricio. And I don't know what Stacey was doing there. She was kind of egging the whole thing on. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I think she was definitely egging it on, mostly because it was making it so that Ashley wouldn't be picking on her and everybody was picking on something else instead of her. So I can see where she kind of thought it was all, but not really thinking about like how this was going to land if Kyle watched it and stuff. So it felt weird from that standpoint. And I felt a little bit like the way like Giselle was trying to like stop the situation, but then one of her interview clips, she said something about laying horizontal with him.
Yeah, I was like, confused about that too. So I'm like catching little bits and pieces of it, and then I heard her say that, and I thought she was like, I don't know, like kind of telling Ashley to, you know, like that's her territory. I don't know. So I was kind of getting confused, but again, I wasn't, you know, locked in and really paying attention. So I think I got confused, but yeah, that's
maybe if we want to move on from this, the other thing I was really curious is how you would react in an Airbnb situation from hell, like they had, like,
with
would
no
you
water?
Be like Giselle? Yeah, the no water situation.
I don't know, because again, like that is really bizarre to have no water, and the people were saying that it worked and everything. I would have, you know, maybe not been so extreme about it. I would have let her, you know, fix the situation and get us a new hotel room if that's what needed to happen. But, yeah, I feel like sometimes they're so quick to, you know, get upset and, you know, going right into that drama. So that's where I'm like, I don't think I necessarily would be like, you know, so upset and mean about it, but I would let her correct the situation. I don't know. What about you? You think you would do that? You think you would be like, I'm getting a hotel and be like super upset about it? I don't know. I don't think you would.
No, for a couple of reasons. One, I just feel like the blaming Angel didn't make any sense to me. I was like, what? She didn't know. It's not like she intentionally put you in a place with no water. So I felt
bad for her this season.
I felt like she was. Well, and you want to hear something funny? So when I was watching this, and when she was getting really emotional and like talking in the car about like how she's trying and like she feels, you know, very, you know, she was just really emotional about it. I had this thought where I was like, I bet she's a Pisces. Sure enough, she was. Yeah, she's a Pisces. Yeah. I was like, oh, that's man, so I could see it. It was like something she said. I was like, oh, she's got that soft, sensitive center.
Yeah, well, also, too, I feel like, you know, being a housewife for the first time, you're getting used to the cameras, you're getting used to how they do things, and used to the ladies. So it's a lot to get used to. And if you take a look at any one of these housewives, you know, in the beginning, they're very green. They're kind of the same way. So I think they need to cut her some slack as far as she's just kind of getting into this thing, getting used to it all. But yeah, I think it was a little too feisty there.
And maybe another question, what do you think, speaking of like new people, what do you think of the return of Monique?
Yeah, I think that she definitely seems like a lot lighter this season, this time coming in. Like, she's gone through some stuff. She's had her time to reflect, and now she's back as like a better version. I mean, we'll see how long it lasts. It may not last, but we'll see.
Yeah, I totally agree. I feel like you could see it in just like a lot of the ways she's communicated this season, or even like when they were at Kimosabi and she was talking about like, well, I used to spend a lot and like now I don't need to do that kind of stuff anymore.
Yeah. Well, I think she's looking at life from a whole different perspective. Like, she's in a whole different life situation. So yeah, I think it's good for her. But I mean, we'll again see if some of her old, feisty ways come back.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Well, and I mean, I think it'd be interesting if they ever let Candace come back too, because it feels. Do you feel at all that they, like, they had Candace on for a couple seasons after that fight, right? Then met with Candace, wait a season, and then they bring back Monique. Do you think ultimately when that fight happened and they removed Monique from the show, if you talk to production, they would have rather keep Monique and then Candace, but they knew they couldn't given the situation. So they were like, well, we'll keep Candace for a couple more seasons. We'll get rid of her and then we can bring Monique back.
Oh, maybe. I don't know. I know Candace is now in the Traders. And that's another...
I mean, they're doing something big otherwise, but I just wondered, because I think when she left 2 seasons ago, it was somewhat because they were kind of sick of her antics.
Yeah. Well, and also I think she was chasing that whole singing career and that sort of thing. And I know she was really busy trying to have children and
yeah.
So I would be curious to see her storyline now, what's going on in her life. But
yeah. Well, and I would be interested to see almost with Mo being so different now, if they would interact differently, right? If they come back to the table totally different, because Monique is totally different. Candace is totally different. I'd just be curious, how they come to the table differently at this point. Because you see it a little bit with Monique and Giselle, right? They didn't always get along. Now they're kind of interacting in a better way, I'd say, a little more fair to each other.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. But yeah, so
maybe...
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say one maybe last discussion point that I'd love to tap into on Potomac before we move on is I think that I've become a Stacey stan. I think
yeah, you like her, yeah?
I feel like, so I know everybody hates her, and I
always liked her from the beginning, just because she's kind of quirky and funny, and you make me laugh.
I think that's it. When she ate her contact. When she was talking about eating her contact, I was like, this is why I love this housewife, is because she will go on and openly tell people that she ate her contact by accident.
I wonder how that is. I don't know if you get a stomachache or what, I think it just dissolves. I have no idea. That's kind of weird.
I would think that would be a poop out thing, but
didn't what's her name? Carol come back at the end there?
Oh, Karen, yeah.
Karen. That's
Carol. That's going to come.
I'm so bad with names. I'm so bad with names.
Karen. And I think there's going to be a whole sit-down thing next week. And I think on Watch What Happens Live, they were talking about, it was whoever the guest was. It may have been Stacey. Andy was like, oh, you've watched the interview with me and Karen already. What did you think? And she was like, it's good. You asked all the questions I would have wanted to know the answers to.
Yeah.
So that'll be interesting.
I'd be curious about that.
But the The other Stacey thing I loved was when they were at Kimosabi and they're all like showing off their expensive purchases. And she was just like, I didn't buy anything. I'm poor. I was like, yes.
You do what you got to do, you know? So I think it's good that she's honest and, you know, stays true to herself. But I think, yeah, that's funny. I like.
All right. Well, sure. I picked. Let's talk about. I wanted to get into Potomac. What do you want to? What show do you want to tap into next? So I was thinking
about, because we haven't talked about it yet, was Housewives of Beverly Hills, and the fact that Rachel Zoe is back on the show. She started off as the Rachel Zoe Project, right, on Bravo, and I think that was one of the reasons I started watching Bravo. Honestly, like I love Rachel Zoe. She's amazing, and the fact that now I get to watch her again, and she's on Beverly Hills. I think it's amazing. And I love her with Jennifer Tilly, like the two of them, and just like their fashion sense, and them like just, I don't know, the two of them together are just awesome. I love them. But what do you think
I feel
about this season of Beverly Hills?
So I totally agree. I feel like Rachel Zoe has been such a nice addition, kind of reminiscent of a Jenna Lyons in my mind, like almost like well respected within the fashion industry. And therefore, once they make that transition into being a housewife, I think because so much of the housewife franchises are centered around fashion, right? Like they're always talking about what they're wearing and stuff. I think if you are in the fashion industry, coming into a Housewives franchise, you're like immediately respected, right?
Oh yeah, definitely. But like Rachel Zoe is amazing. Like I will go shopping and I'll see her, you know, brand or whatever Rachel, and I have to get it because I just love her. And I know she knows her stuff, like, you know, so she's also like little like me, and so I think she just gets fashion for many.
So you would say your style, like if you could dress like any of the Beverly Hills Housewives, which one's style would you say you would most
I feel want? Like it would be like a blend of all of them. Obviously Rachel Zoe. Okay. I like Kyle's fashion sense. I would, you know, and then even Dorit, some things Dorit is a little, like I'm not as bold as Dorit. You know, she'll make a statement. But I'm not as bold.
See, that's funny
to do that.
We were just having this conversation privately recently, and I feel like I like Dorit because I'm like,
I was going to say that.
Very matchy, very thematic. All my favorite things.
So what do you think about Kyle and Mauricio this season? Because there's also, you know, Dorit and what's his name? PK. That's also kind of going through it. But recently I heard that Kyle and Mauricio were seen at New Year's party, and they were very like close and looking, I don't know, like a couple again. What do you think about that?
Yeah, so I saw some like a Watch What Happens live clip with Dorit, and Andy Cohen actually asked her about that. Like, what do you think of the Kyle and Mauricio being seen together kind of thing? And Dorit made some real shady comment to the effect of like, if they were back together, Kyle would be shouting it from the rooftops. And I think that says a lot, because it says that basically the reason they're not together right now is not because of Kyle at this point. It is because of Mauricio. Yeah. Whereas I think initially it was because of Kyle.
I think so too. But maybe Mauricio, you know, he has his things that he needs to get over that maybe, you know, during their whole whatever was going on, you know, maybe Kyle hurt him. And so he's still not over it. But who knows? I mean, it could be they both hurt each other. But also maybe they're just like really good at co-parenting, and, you know, like I feel like Kyle's been really good about being respectful to Mauricio and her whole family. Whereas Dorit, obviously, she seems a little more angry and is definitely not talking very highly of PK. And I don't know, she's more upset, I guess, not so graceful for whatever reason.
Who do you think is telling the truth in that situation? Do you think it's more of a situation where PK is telling the truth, or that Dorit is telling the truth, or do you think it's somewhere in between?
I don't know. I always kind of feel in any situation that it's somewhere in between. Like, it's not so black and white. And so it also could be just like miscommunication constantly. But, you know, again, who knows? It's just crazy that it's both Kyle and Dorit. Like, they were so close, such like a, you know, little two couple, like the couples would always hang out, you know, and now they're both going through it. Like, Kyle and Mauricio obviously were having their issues, and I wonder if it like trickled into like the friends group, and then the fact that PK and Dorit, like maybe that was something that brought them together, was hanging out with Kyle and Mauricio, and then they didn't have that, so then things started to go haywire for them, along with several other things. I'm not saying it's just that, but yeah, so I don't know. Yeah. It's just weird that it's happening at the same time, you know?
Yeah, I think a little bit of it is, what's interesting is also that I think the reason that the dynamic between Dorit and PK and the dynamic between Mauricio and Kyle are also so different is think about the ages of the children, right? Like, true. When you look at Kyle, most of her kids are pretty well grown. Yep. So you don't probably feel this thing of like, oh, it's hard for the children to understand. It's hard to explain it to them. Yeah. So it's a little easier, I feel like, to navigate being in Kyle's shoes because, look, like, you have the ability to, like, kind of have a more adult conversation with your kids about what's going on. And you're not feeling probably like, not that you don't protect your kids in any case, but like, not in the same way as Dorit, who has like young children who you can't really explain it all to.
But you can also, like young children, they can't, well, I mean, they might be able to read, but they're not going to like be looking online for things with their parents or find, like, you know, when you're older, you're going to be online, you're going to be aware of like things that are come up, like Mauricio with other women and stuff like that. Like,
yeah, Kyle
that's can't shelter her daughters from that, but like when they're younger, I mean, you can kind of shelter them and guide the storyline a little bit. I don't know, but yeah, I think it's both kind of tough. But I was just wondering if it was like maybe, you know, one friend group they were struggling a little bit, and that trickled into the other friend relationship or something.
But I don't know because they were. I feel like they were kind of on the outs a little bit ahead of all of this happening. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. But now, what do you think of Amanda?
What, Amanda and Kyle? Oh, the new Amanda.
No, Amanda from Beverly Hills. I know. Yeah, I feel like sometimes when new people, it's like, what?
Mean, new people, I'm like, wait a minute. I forgot about Amanda. I don't know. Like, okay, so when Rachel Zoe and Jennifer Tilly talk about all their, like, you know, fancy jewelry and clothes, they do it with, like, a certain, I don't know, like, class. But I feel like Amanda, it's, like, more showy, and she's doing it to, like, for their approval, and I don't know, it just seems like a little bit, like, ugh, to me, as far as the way she talks about, you know, who she is, where she came from. Like, she's like the queen of money. Like, I feel like she like gave herself that title. So it's like, I don't know, a little cheesy. But I'm like, I don't know. I'm not a big fan of Amanda. I feel really bad about the whole situation with her, you know, son and everything that happened to her. And, you know, that's awful. But I just, like, I don't know, if me and her were in a room together, I don't think we would get along as well because we both have very different backgrounds, and I feel like she just seems like a little privileged. I don't know, but like obviously all these women are a little bit privileged, but I don't know. It's just she just makes it very obvious. I don't know how to say it. What about you? What do you think of her? What do you think of Amanda?
I don't particularly like her, and I think the reason being is that, and it's not that like you said, I feel terrible for what she went through with her child, but I don't like. I mean, I think my big trigger is when I feel like people are manipulative, and I feel like I see her being very manipulative, where it's like, oh, she wants to have the conversation with Dorit when it's like beneficial to her. But the minute she gets challenged at all, it's like, oh, we can't talk about it because like I'm sad. And I feel like that's manipulative. And I feel like not for nothing, even just the way she kind of like keeps talking about stuff like loudly in the car with the women. And it's almost like she's trying to self-produce too much.
I agree.
And
like control the narrative.
And I mean, or even like the stuff with Sutton where it's like, oh, you know, it's like she wanted it to look like she was being benevolent with like information, right? Yeah. Oh, I was told something, but I didn't do anything with it. But it's like, but you are doing it right now. You're bringing it up. So I just always feel like that kind of behavior is pretty manipulative, and that like they're trying to create some narrative that makes them look like a victim and seem like a victim.
Yeah. Well, she's trying to tell people
she's been arrested for.
She did?
She had, something popped up recently. Like she had some arrest and like, so now I've seen people online calling her Scamanda, like Scam Amanda.
Well, yeah, I mean, I don't know. I feel like she's trying to tell people how to think of her. Like, I don't know, like you should just be able to be yourself, and people come up with their own, opinions of you, or, that girl, she seems like she has it together, whatever. But instead she's like, telling people, like, no, look at me. I have my stuff together. I have all this fancy stuff. I'm this way. I'm this way. They, like, asked about her job, and she went into, like, this huge, long pitch about what she does. And, like, again, just trying to prove herself. And I feel like she needs to just stop doing that and just be more natural with it. Also, what do you think about Sutton this season?
Oh, I mean, it's kind of a hard one because, like, on one hand, I kind of can't stand her. And on the other hand, I kind of find her funny. So, I don't know. I think she's one of those people that, like, I think she's very different when the cameras are down. Right? Like, I think there are some people that you can see where they are who they are. Like, Bose, like, I'm sure she is, like, lovely on camera, lovely off Bose. Camera.
Yeah.
I get the sense that like Sutton is probably like not super pleasant with production, like when the cameras are down. Like you can see her get agitated in kind of that way that like I think women sometimes do. I mean, men do too, but I a little bit of like persnicketyness. You can see where she's very kind of picky and stuff. So I feel like that's kind of a difficult personality. And you see how she is with her friends. Like, I think that Jennifer Tilly is probably one of the most genuine housewives in terms of like, I don't think she has the need to like pretend to be somebody different because the person she is pretty easy breezy.
And she's funny. So, like, she makes me laugh. I love Jennifer Tilly. But like, she just has this edge to her, like as far, it's like a sharp little edge, like I don't know that she's not so easy.
I think that's where I clock sometimes, like she almost has like a Shannon Bedore-esque quality, and that like they can be very funny, they can be very likable and be fun in fun situations, but they can also be very moody. And I think they can be very self-involved, and they can be very, they can lack like the perspective of like how other people are feeling in those moments. And so I think that's where I kind of put Sutton is like, I don't know that she's made any kind of substantial growth. I get the sense that the whole Avi situation was that she was probably like yelling at him. Yeah. She was probably like being mean to him, because it sounds like Jennifer Tilly made the comment that was like, oh, I figured he'd be back at that point because she's fired him and unfired him kind of before kind of thing. And so to me, that's like, oh, so he was like in an abusive relationship, right? Like let's say you're dating somebody and then they keep like getting in fights with you, breaking up with you, and then 2 weeks later you get back together. Right. Mm-hmm. And you're going to be insecure in your relationship because you're like, well, they broke up with me like 2 weeks ago. Yeah. Right. I feel like that was the working dynamic between them. I feel like it became something where every time she wouldn't like, and the dynamic is off because she's his employer. So I think it's the kind of thing where anytime he made a mistake, she was probably like, "Get it out of here, you're fired." And then like 2 weeks later, she'd be like, "I kind of miss him. I should have him back." And then she'd have him back. Yeah. And I'm sure what happened was she probably went back to him at some point, said, "Hey, all right, I forgive you now. You can come back." And he was like, "No, I'm done with this roller coaster ride of being fired and then brought back." And that is where what Amanda said would actually make sense too. And that like, oh, it'll set Sutton off if like she hires Avi. And it's because I think Sutton ultimately wanted Avi to come back. But then at that point, she had like kind of done her get out, come back, get out, come back.
Well, I'm sure it was, enough's enough kind of situation. I feel like she is trying to work on herself this season though. So, and I can already see a little bit of a difference with her as far as, her reactions with some people. But again, we'll see how long it lasts. Because I know people, they see themselves on TV and they don't like it. So then they want to change, their personality or just be a little bit more lenient with certain things and, reflect and be a better person. And so I think she's at that point, but that doesn't always work out for them. I know sometimes they end up going back. But with that said, I know we could be talking about this all day. I think we should wrap it up and we can, we'll be back in a little bit.
Yeah.
All right. Sounds good. Hey guys, your new favorite duo, Jocelyn and Vicky, two lifetime besties and full-time moms, are serving up real talk, big laughs, and so much more in their new podcast, Housewives Smoke Show. If you're into unfiltered conversations, mom solidarity, reality TV, horoscopes, and a weekly escape with your new best friends, you're in the right place. Tune in weekly to discover what makes their dynamic totally binge-worthy. Don't miss a minute of the laughs, the chaos, and the hot takes. Housewives Smoke Show, your new favorite obsession. Tune in, get involved, and let's get lit with conversation. All right, and we're back with more Bravo. So
woo-hoo. I'm excited to talk about some of these topics.
All right, so we're going to start off with Summer House, right? Do you want me to go ahead and start with my Summer House topics? And
go ahead.
All right. Well, I'm going to start, right off the bat with the elephant in the room, Kyle and Amanda. Are they like separated or are they getting a divorce? Because I am not sure. Like, I know they said that they're separated. Does that mean that definitely getting a divorce? Is there still a chance that they're going to be getting back together? Like, what do you think?
So here's what I've gathered. So I did watch What Happens Live with Amanda and Sierra that aired after the Summer House episode. And they kind of touched on that a little bit in that, like, they're definitely separated, I think, at the moment, but like
not fully divorced. They're not going there yet.
We're like the chances of us getting back together, I would say right now, are not going to happen.
Okay.
Kind of thing.
Wow. All right.
Like it seemed the way like she was discussing it. Maybe they are getting divorced. Maybe we're both
like
just
this is just the step to getting divorced. Or do you think it's like they just need their space and they might come back together? Possibly.
She made it pretty clear on Watch What Happens Live. She does not really see any kind of future where they come back together.
Oh, that's so sad. That's like, I know. It's crazy.
And she was like, she basically said, she's like, I wouldn't say like rule it out forever, but she's like, I don't really see that happening kind of thing. Yeah. Right? So it's like, I think if you say you don't really see that happening.
Well, I know.
And honestly, I don't see that happening.
The season has just started, so we haven't seen everything yet, I will say.
Oh, I mean, it was so
Okay, so that brings me to my next question.
What do you think of the new guy? Ben, how do you pronounce it? Waddell?
I think,
okay.
So here's the
what
thing.
What do you think of him?
I feel like he is extremely handsome and charming, and
do you think he knows it and he just plays into that a lot? You think that?
I mean, if I was that attractive, I would say you should go ahead. But I don't know. I think, look, Kyle has never been good to Amanda. Let's be clear. She's such a sweet person, and you see where he is just not been a good partner 1,000 times over. And she's been so tolerant and kind, and even in the Watch What Happens Live thing that she was on with Sierra, they were asking about the prenup stuff, and they were asking about Loverboy, and she was like, they were like, oh, will you get a piece or something of Loverboy? How will that work? And she's like, honestly, Loverboy is his baby. I would never take anything
that's
I feel like it's so indicative of what kind of person she is.
Yes.
To be mindful and not vindictive in that way that some people, I think, get in a divorce. And I think that shows that there is a true friendship there, which I think has always been very clear, is that there's a friendship, but then when they layer in the relationship piece, it doesn't work, because he's a giant man-child and wants to always be a giant man-child and doesn't understand that the world.
So where it
but a good relationship doesn't revolve around one person.
Start? Where did this start? So if you think back, it was always Kyle going out and staying out and partying a little too much, right? And okay, that's whatever. And then he started Loverboy, and he was doing good with that. And Amanda backed him. She was the graphic designer. She did that kind of thing for the company and pitched in. And so that was their thing for a while. And then she just wanted, he was putting his heart and soul into that. And then, Amanda was not getting as much attention. So then she wanted to have something that she could put her heart and soul into, just something to do. So then she came up with her swim line. And she did really good with it. But then because she came up with the swim line, then he said, okay, well, then now I'm going to be a DJ. So now he's DJing. He's never home. And so it's I don't know. It just kept escalating and building, I don't know.
Well, and I think all the stuff pointed out about the other friend who's a DJ and has a wife and child and goes home after.
Exactly.
I think that tells you everything that Amanda has probably internalized at this point, right? Is sitting there being he could go home. He could choose to not behave like this. He's making this choice. And at a certain point, I think if your partner's making a particular choice that you're well, they're really shitty towards me.
Yeah.
At a certain point, you have to kind of see that. And I think that's been the dynamic in their relationship for so long, because I think they started on uneven ground, right?
Yeah.
It's always been this thing where she's kind of given him a bunch of grace, and he's kind of, been there being who he is, and I think she enjoys certain aspects of him being fun. And I think you read, I saw something at some point that I guess the way contracts are done is different on all the shows to some extent, but on Summer House, I guess Kyle negotiates for all of them in a lot of instances.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And it's been something. So it's I've read some things like that. I've seen things so I can see where there's a little bit of he's always kind of taking care of the show. And it's this weird dynamic of it's your husband, but he's also your castmate, and he's also your coworker. And when you start layering in all these things, I can see where it just goes sour. But I think they will be very similar to Lindsay and Carl. I think there's something about being you wouldn't see this on a lot of Bravo shows, right? This separating, but like remaining cool kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like and I think that that's a unique thing that probably
I think they understand
New York,
like, the
New York mentality
of not doing that. And I feel like just to keep the peace and keep everybody happy, it's for the best, But so I'm going to move on to the next subject, which is kind of similar, but I was going to ask you, what was your reaction to Amanda going in the pool with the sheer top? And what was your reaction to like how Kyle handled it? I'm curious.
Oh my God, he was in the wrong by 1,000,000,000%. I don't know about you. I was immediately like,
wrong? Yeah.
How? He was wrong. Oh my God, how many times has Kyle revealed himself throughout the seasons of Summer House?
Right.
Like basically, like he's gone running naked through the yard. He's been pissing on camera, off the deck, on Winter House.
Well,
like this man
he's
has had
partying for sure. Yeah. Amanda is not that.
Who's to dictate to her what she's allowed to expose on TV? I am certain there's not been like these points where he's been like, "Oh, Amanda, is it okay if I go pee off the deck on camera?"
Yeah.
Absolutely not. So why should she have to ask him? That would be hypocritical and unfair. So I am totally in the camp of like, she should be doing whatever the fuck she wants.
I know. Well, his reaction, I was like, wow, like I was a little surprised.
Well,
and I feel like even Amanda was a little surprised. What about like, where's Paige? Like, I wish Paige was here. And, why did you know Paige was not coming back? I didn't know Paige was not coming back.
Oh, I knew.
How did you know?
And did you know that they're like Amanda has openly said now several times too that she's really open to talking with Hannah?
Oh my God, that would be awesome. I would love that.
Right?
For all of them.
Well, and the whole reason they fell out was because
talking to Hannah right now? Like, what the hell? Get back here, talk to Hannah.
Well, like now, that's the thing.
Oh
now
God,
that
all
Kyle
three of them together again would just make my heart complete. I feel like that would be amazing. All right, so
would it make your heart beat as strong as Rachel Zoe on Beverly Hills?
Oh, I know. I love Rachel Zoe. All right. Do you have any questions as far as Summer House?
I guess so. I'll ask a couple questions.
Okay.
One, do you think anything happened more than what was said between Ben and Amanda in the pool at the wedding?
Oh, yeah. So I know, just like their whole vibe. That's why I asked you what you thought of him, because I was thinking, like, there's something there. There's something there.
There's something.
Yes, there's something there. And you cannot ignore it. And so it either has happened or it's gonna happen.
He's looking at him with doe eyes. Anybody who's been in the like early phases of hooking up with somebody or liking somebody knows that's exactly what you were watching.
Mm-hmm.
So I think there's that. And not for nothing, and I don't condone cheating in any way. I think it's an awful thing to do that plants like seeds of insecurity in your partner in a way that like you can't undo, and that's so permanent in a sense. But Kyle has cheated on her and put her in this position to feel insecure about like cheating so many times that I think if there were ever a person who I would be like, they should not feel bad, it would be Amanda Petula.
Yeah, I know. All right. Any other things that you want to mention?
Okay, the one last thing for Summer House.
I'm very curious to see the relation. I'm sorry, I don't know if you can hear me. I'm very curious to see the relationship between Ben and Amanda, like, and how it will evolve and change throughout the season. I'm so curious. But all right, sorry, go with your question.
Now, I actually have 2 more questions if we have time.
All right.
But I will try to make them quick.
And I have one more question at the end.
Who's your favorite newbie?
Okay, I knew you were gonna say that. That girl lying in the animal cage, holding on to the animals and the corn hat. Like immediately I saw the corn hat and I loved the corn hat. How could you not, right?
It's funny because I was watching it thinking, I feel like you are a lot like the corn and a lot like
I would never be laying down in the gross goat shit. I was like, what is this girl on? To just be laying down in goat shit probably all over the field, first of all. And she's letting the goats or whatever animal all over. I was like, oh, I don't think I could do that. I'm very cleanly. I love goats. Don't get me wrong, but I ain't gonna be laying down with them. If they're cleaner.
I think the other question we have to get into though, the last one, and this is like a 2-parter almost because there's people who go either way. So
I wonder if it's going to be one of my questions.
West, you have the West Jesse Sierra triangle.
Oh, you got my question. Sorry, I didn't mean to blow your ears out. That was going to be one of my questions. All right, go ahead.
So we have this triangle, right?
Yes, for
but
sure.
But then presumably you could have another triangle post-divorce situation, Amanda and Ben, but also Jesse Solomon. Where does he come into the mix in that one? Because he's
with Amanda?
Also been hurt. Well, you see the way he's post all these flattering comments and definitely been very flirty with Amanda over the season. So
true.
It begs the question of Jesse Solomon clearly is interested in either of them. West is very clearly interested in Sierra, and you can see that Ben is very interested in Amanda just by the googly eyes.
I know.
So, question being, if you could pair them off, how would you pair them off?
Oh my God, that's so bad because I can't, Amanda's married. What do you want from me? Does that matter in this situation?
No, should Kyle no more. No, I feel who
are we pairing? Who are we pairing?
This is where my watching Love Island has made me too cutthroat. I'm just take these people and put them together.
I know. I'm wait a minute. I have feelings.
You need to watch more Love Island. That's the lesson.
I know. I can't watch Love Island. I'm But no, so what do you mean? Who are we talking about here? Who are we talking about?
So I'm saying, so you have to pair them off. So
who's they?
Because they're Sierra and Amanda. You pick out of these guys. Who do you put them with?
The new guys too. Sierra and Amanda. So Amanda, I'm gonna go Ben, just because obviously there's mutual interest there. That's a given. So clearly Ben. Go Amanda and Ben. Woo woo. But also Kyle. Woo woo. I want them to work, and if it doesn't work out, then Ben. But anyways, so what was the other one?
The other one is Sierra. And I guess you could throw Carl in the mix there because Carl clearly loves Sierra too.
I know. I was going to say that, but no, I feel Sierra. Not Carl. What's the new guy? I forget his name.
Wes?
No, Wes is not the new guy.
Oh, KJ?
Is that the new guy?
The skateboarder?
Yeah, the skateboarder. I really like the skateboarder. Yeah. I'm I like the fact that even John, my husband, he watches with me. He loves Summer House, big Summer House fan. So I had to wait to watch Summer House with him. And he loves KJ. He's I didn't know he was a skateboarder. And he's as soon as I knew that he was a skateboarder, I got it and he understood it. And I get it too. And he actually reminded me of one of my cousins. But yeah, so I love him. And I feel like he's a good pair because his mother is the nurse and her mother's the nurse, but then she's also the nurse. And so it was just this whole bonding moment. But we'll see how the season pans out. I feel I know Sarah has old fling with Wes, but I'm also one of those people that I feel like, you tried it, don't go backwards, just keep moving forwards. Like, keep going. Like, that didn't work out. Don't go back to it. Like, just keep going forward, So I'm curious about this new relationship.
You say that, but then you want Kyle and Amanda to stay together. You're all over the place.
Because they're married, and I feel like, it's always been them from the beginning. So I've always been rooting for them. You cannot root for them.
No, that's fair.
So
they've had a hard go. Like, I feel for Amanda's comment that, like, the internet to some extent has contributed to.
Oh, of course.
Questioning, like, the ability
and I totally understand, like, she can't even think clearly because obviously there's all these other thoughts that are brought into her head, she has to deal with that. So that's,
No, I think I would go Sierra with Wes, though, because I don't know, there is, like, I think he's genuinely sorry.
Okay.
And a good guy.
Yes. Well, I agree with that too. I can't disagree with that. But all right.
He got her a petting zoo.
I know. You can't. And the little baby goats. The little baby goats get me every time.
Got her a donkey.
I want baby goats, but I don't want to lay down on their poo. To sum it up. Do you have another question? Because I have one more question just to sum it all up, and then we got to keep moving to our next.
Okay, you go with your question.
So my question is very straightforward. Jesse or Wes for Sierra? So I'm throwing kind of your question back at you, but I'm like putting a little twist on it. Okay. So Jesse or Wes for Sierra?
I think I go with. So it's interesting.
I know it's kind of early on. It's early on.
I've gone back and forth, but I think at current moment, I would put her with Wes.
Yeah, you just said that before, so I kind of figured.
I think that she wants Wes.
Yeah.
I think that's why I want Wes. It's because I think secretly, like, I think her comment about, like, oh, I think he got me this petting zoo secretly. Like, you don't say that about somebody that, like, you're not kind of sitting there being like, I kind of wanted them to, like, come crawling back.
So would you do it? Like, would you go back to him?
I think he's shown enough. He's been apologetic the right amount, right? And I guess in my opinion, and maybe I'm too forgiving, but I also sit there and go, like, look, I think it was kind of the perfect, like, they're breaking up of their initial little situation, right?
Yes.
I think was just like, I don't know, it was like a hurdle, right? Like, they weren't really ready. He wasn't really ready. He needed to go, like, live some life before he really, like, was ready. And I feel like she really had a special bond with him. And I feel like he's in a different phase of life now, such that he's ready. Yeah. Also, I did see some things online that there are suspicions that they might be together right now.
All right.
So, I am
with that, let's shift gears a bit. And we're going to let's start talking about Southern Charm this week. Because I feel like I have a lot to say on that. And we only have a little bit more time left to just cover that, even though I have a lot to say.
Yes.
So I, right off the bat, want to talk about Austin and the fact that he broke up with his girlfriend. Like, why do you think Austin broke up with his girlfriend? Like, what do you think?
I think it was a combination of things. I think, one, the other guys were single and he was jealous. To some extent, like FOMO. I think he looked at the fact that, like, oh no, Craig and Shep are going to be going out and, like, meeting.
What is up with that?
You know,
that's ridiculous. But I
don't know. Do you think
he just wasn't, like, feeling it with her? Like, it was just not at that level that he wanted? Because that's the vibe that I was getting. Like, it was just not what he was really, like, I don't know, she was a great girl, but it just wasn't right. Like there was just something off about it. And then also I wanted to like, did you see like, so clearly Austin wasn't talking about the breakup. And he told Madison about the breakup, but he didn't want to talk about it. He didn't tell anyone else. And then Madison kind of spilled the beans to Sally a little bit, but did you see Sally's face when she heard about it? I was like, oh my God, like, yeah.
I saw some interview bites where people were likening it to a dog in heat. And I was like, that is an excellent description. She was like a dog in heat. You could tell she was just frothing at the mouth at the fact that he was single.
That also brings me to my next question. Like, what do you think of Sally this season?
I mean, look, I don't like the way she moves as a female. Like, I find her to be a bit of a pick-me. I think she centers her personality around the attention of men, which I find to be a bit confusing because, like, team women.
Well, I just feel like she comes off a bit desperate. Like, right? She comes off super desperate. It gives me the ick. I don't like it. Like, I'm just like, relax. What about, I've
never wanted to come off as desperate, so I can't understand behaving that way.
And, like, honestly, I feel as though, like, she's almost kind of trying to drive a little bit of a wedge between Craig and Charlie with some of the rumors she's trying to start. And, like, I want to say, like, do you think it's, like, is she trying to drive a wedge, or do you think it's, like, coming out, like, she sees who Craig is, or, like, she thinks she sees who Craig is, this horrible person that led her on, and she thinks Charlie is going to suffer the same fate. So she's trying to save Charlie? Or do you think it's, like, the fact of, like, she's trying to drive a wedge because she's a little bit bitter about the whole situation? Like, how do you read that?
I think it is a combination of both, right? Okay. Like, I think there is some amount of her that is like, man, this guy, like, did me rotten, and he's going to eventually do her rotten, most likely, because, like, look, this, like, flurry of people who are like, he's not a good guy, right? Like, you hear them all talk about, like, being afraid of him and his reactions and stuff, which I think, because, like, I don't feel like I've ever observed anything that's been, like, too crazy, which makes me think that a lot of it happens when the cameras are down, and that he's not the same person when the cameras are up as he is when the cameras are down.
That's a good point. And that's true.
It's because, like, I don't know, it feels like if you read between the lines, right? Like, in a lot of these interview clips, people are like, yeah, he's got a temper, he's all these things. But then you watch the show and you don't necessarily feel that. But, like, they all talk about hanging out when the cameras are down plenty. So that's probably when this is coming out. Yeah. And not for nothing, if it's something where he does it when the cameras are not there, and then, like, doesn't do it when the cameras are there, it kind of comes off a bit like he can control it, right?
Yeah.
If you're choosing not to do it when the cameras are there, then you could choose to not do it when the cameras aren't.
Right. Exactly.
That could be where they... So, like, I don't think Sally's necessarily, like, completely wrong in wanting to, like, be like, well, he's not a great guy. And I probably was, like, ignoring some of it because I kind of liked him.
So,
right?
what do you think the possibility of Sally and Austin getting together now that Austin broke up with his girlfriend? What do you think the percentage of that is?
Just given the fact that they're, like, Southern men and these are, like, Southern women, I honestly wouldn't be shocked if Charlie and Craig got together and Austin and Sally got together. I'm
talking about, Austin and Sally. What do you think?
I'm saying I would not be surprised if they each paired off and that was how they made it all work, was because then they would both be in relationships. It'd be both in relationships that they could, ruin the back and forth on television.
Well, I would be interested to see that. I would be interested to see that too.
I feel like that's the thing, and I think that that's what Craig probably figured out to some extent.
Well, and that was almost going to, go into my next question of, do you think that Craig and Charlie will be more comfortable moving forward in their relationship if Sally and Craig are in a relationship and getting together? So
absolutely,
you just kind of answered that last question for me.
I think they'll leverage each other, right? I think it'll become a way to prop their relationship up with this other relationship, right? So I could totally see that being how it pans out. I think it would make sense.
I agree. Well, so I think that's all that I wanted to cover about Summer House. Do you have anything that you'd like to talk about?
For Southern Charm, I'm trying to think if there was anything else I wanted to cover. Oh, I know. I had one good question. So, the car ride to the farm.
Yes, I loved that farm. That was beautiful.
I know. Was that not beautiful? Oh my God. I feel like
growing up there, he's very privileged.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The fact that he is so polite and charming. I find him to be one of the most delightful guys that's ever been on.
Yeah, I agree.
Southern Charm. But he's also related to Jimmy Buffett, which is crazy.
I know. I was excited about that. I feel like my mom would love that.
I don't feel like my mom
would be like, yes. But I love Jimmy Buffett. Can't go wrong.
Yeah, I can get down with the parrot head.
Yeah, I agree.
But anyway,
it's 11.
If you could pick one car to ride in of the 3 cars that went up,
remind me the cars. Did you write them down?
Okay, so in one car you had Whitner.
Okay.
You had Shep. Was Shep in that one, and Craig?
I can't remember.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, that's what it was. It was Shep, Craig, and Whit. Then it was Benita, Austin, and Rodrigo.
Okay.
And then it was Molly, Sally, and Charlie.
Well, I would right off the bat probably go with Molly, Sally, and Charlie. Just because, I'm a girl's girl, and I would be like, I'm going to ride with all the girls. So
I feel like I would just follow Molly around because, as we've discussed, I just adore Molly. So I feel like I would just follow her.
I'm just like, I can't. Yeah, I feel like all the girls I would probably vibe with, and you'd talk, all about Craig. I'm sure the whole ride. No, I'm kidding. Anyways, well, let's wrap this episode up. I know we could talk about this forever. So stay tuned because our next episode is going to be all about Valentine's Day. So we're actually going to have our husbands on the show. We're going to try doing a little newlyweds game with them. And then for the second half, we're going to cover our little Valentine's Day trip together at Mohegan wine or food and wine tasting. Is that where we went? Yeah.
We did a whole mess of stuff, so we'll have to get into all of it.
Yeah, so it's fun, but it'll be all themed about love and Valentine's Day. But all right, well, take care. We will catch you next time.
Bye.